Hey guys, what is up? So another fragrance review today for you guys. And you might be wondering why I'm wearing a hoodie. It's much too hot still if you're watching this around the time that I'm putting it up. Uh, but we're talking about a fragrance, an absolutely new fragrance from this house right here. This, I'm not even gonna call it a house. It's a brand, Mami Wata, and I love their clothing too. And we're gonna be talking about their first fragrance release. You may have heard of this through Lucky Scent that has been kind of promoting it. That's how I found out about this fragrance. I love Lucky Scent. That I discover a lot of my fragrances that way through them. And check out the bottle. This is just a perfect looking bottle. I think this really captures your attention. Very clean. Very clean cube aesthetic. Really interesting art on the front. So right off the bat, I think that's a really good start. I think it's actually a must to have a kind of alluring bottle design, and this hits that. Now this scent, although we're heading into the fall, this is more appropriate as a hot weather scent, but it's one of those, you can wear a fresh scent anytime, anywhere. So it's one of those scents, and this is more of an overall a salty marine, citrusy kind of scent, but at the same time soapy. And we'll break it down a little more, but that's the overall quality of the scent, just to tell you the genre of it. Now, this has a really interesting backstory because it's a collaboration between the brand Mami Wata, which is a South African surf inspired kind of company, and Etienne de Swart, the founder of Etat Libre d'Orange. And I didn't know that he was actually South African born, so it makes perfect sense that they did this. And obviously, he has a great brand with that has really good, interesting fragrances. So perfect. Now the perfumer, I'd have to double check the name, but I know that the important thing for you guys is that she's the perfumer behind Gris Charnel by BDK Parfum. And I think that's really interesting as well, because that is a really hyped up scent. So we know there's a good nose behind this fragrance. Now, this is a very, I would say, unique kind of scent for a lot of different reasons. So let's spray it again. Yeah, so when you first try it, you're probably gonna detect the citrus the most. There's a really sharp, tangy lime accord going on here. But what is really interesting about this is there's a dark facet that I get in the background. It's an overall very fresh, refreshing kind of scent. But what I mean by dark is that you detect a strong mossy accord, like a woodiness, and I would say it's more of a grassiness. It literally reminds me of shrubs and broken twigs, at times like just dry burnt trees. So you get this really natural kind of tree woodiness, like twigs, and that's kind of floating in the background, but the citrus is really sharp, like lemon lime, kind of really sharp citrus. And so you're gonna feel like this is kind of citrus forward, summery type of scent, but different, right? So you've got this strong citrus mingling with this mossiness, this grassiness, and I think that perfectly captures this kind of scenery where the land meets the sea, right? I think that's always a really South African landscape is so unique and interesting. I want to visit one day. It just, like, if you look at photos, it's like nothing else, right? I think what makes it so beautiful and unique is this clash of the land and the sea, or I shouldn't say clash, but really harmony, right? With the mountains in the background. It's like a beach, but at the same time a mountainous type of region, and this fragrance captures that type of aura. Uh, it feels like you're walking, by some citrus groves. You're like smelling oranges and citruses directly. At the same time, you're getting all the wood smells. Uh, and the other part of this fragrance, I think that's kind of contributing to this overall feel that I'm describing is it is soapy, but it's very spicy. So that also to me is unique and something I haven't really smelled a lot in fragrances. This fragrance very interestingly reminded me, a couple times as I was testing it, of green Irish tweed, and I was wondering why. I didn't really know. I thought, okay, maybe it's the kind of really strong green notes in here. And then, the other day, this reminded me of a kind of well-known soap-based fragrance, which is Gendarme Eau de Cologne. Now that fragrance, I had high hopes for, but it ended up being just a really light, watery scent. Good scent, but really a little too light and watery. Now the thing that fragrance and Green Irish Tweed have in common is lemon verbena. I don't know whether the note here is lemon verbena or not. We don't have the listed notes, but that smell that I keep describing, right, of something very tart and citrusy and sharp, right, but at the same time very, very green, that is probably best captured by the note of lemon verbena. Just to give you an idea of the scent, but this has more woody structure behind it than these other fragrances that I'm describing. Green Irish Tweed mixes in more of that floral, violet iris combination, which makes that unique. Gives it kind of a buttery, weird vibe that's so good to me. This one is all about very spicy accord. Now I talked about this being a salty kind of marine fragrance in the beginning. That was just to kind of give you an overall sense of the scent. That's one other way to see the scent. You could see this as, like the bottle suggests, and I've described plenty, it's a very green scent, but it is kind of a aquatic scent. I don't like the word aquatic. I think it's very generic, more marine, right? Meaning that it really captures evokes the sea, the saltiness of it as well, and this is more of that fragrance. I can't say that's the direct inspiration for the scent, because apparently, the scent is based off the smell of green soap, which is actually part of the South African culture, and it's supposed to make people reminisce about home and about family and about their experience with this green bar soap, which I'd never smelled before. But if it smells anything like this, great, right? I don't think this is gonna offend anybody. It is not, it's not the most. It might not be the most compliment garnering fragrance, because this really appeals to the aficionado, right? The people who just want to experience a fresh scent that's unique in the market. There are the kind of more generic freshies are probably going to get you more reactions from people, right? Because people pass you and they just get this whiff of fresh kind of cologne scent. But this scent is all about kind of exploring the layers and kind of you experiencing the scent and putting yourself in that environment, right? We may have never visited South Africa, but that's what the power of fragrances, right? They can kind of transport you there, give you a little bit of that experience and a little bit of an experience of a different culture, and that's the kind of fragrance that I love the most. And this one, the price too, totally worth it. I think the small bottle is going to be enough, and it just perfect complement to your shelf, and it's around $90 here in the US. So I think this is a must try. Even late summer entering into fall, this is actually a perfect kind of scent because of that that mossiness that really builds up this fragrance. And one other thing I'll mention is as the fragrance dries down longer and longer and some of the citrus fades, it's very interesting how it dries down more into this, for me, you know, it has a slight burnt woody quality to it. I kind of referenced that earlier, but it also has a little bit of this creamy sweetness. So it kind of is like a mix of, you know, maybe a little bit of ash, a little bit of burnt twigs, and burnt caramel or sugar. When you smell it very late in the dry down, and I think that's also very interesting about this scent. So it really dries down beautifully, you know, into a very subtle kind of more of a skin scent, but it's not a linear scent. And again, an artistic creation. I think this is fantastic. Yeah, so guys, let me know if you've tried this, if you know of this brand. I think this is a must try, so give it a go, trust me. So hopefully you like my recommendations, and I'll see you in my next videos. Bye.